Good. Okay. Okay.
Hey folks, thanks for being here. I wish if this is your first time that we could be doing this in person. It's a lot more fun that way, but meeting with lawmakers and talking to them about the things that are important to you, your business, and how you serve your clients is pretty fun, and it can be very effective. So if we go to the next slide, Cody. My best personal advice, and I should have introduced myself. I'm Judy Karsrud. I'm the Assistant Vice President of NAIFA's Government Relations here in Washington, D.C. I've been with NAIFA almost 10 years. My specialties are tax, retirement, and best interest. And so I've had an opportunity to meet with lots of lawmakers, and with lots of regulators. And my best personal advice is to just relax and be yourself and be memorable in a good way. And I've been saying that be memorable in a good way for about 10 years, because we all know or have experienced someone where we kind of muttered under our breath a little version of, well, that guy was a jerk or something. So that's not what you want to be when making your first impression with members of Congress. If you've been here all day, you've been hearing telling a story is the key to being memorable in terms of what issues we're promoting. With lawmakers, they cannot remember all the details, but they will remember a story. Be prepared to tell a story about yourself and your business, and what you've done. For instance, I'm Judy Karsrud. I started in the life insurance industry in 1980. I wrote one of my first policies on our bookkeeper, who was a young woman with a 2-year-old child. I also wrote a policy on her brother, and within about 3 months, they had been in an airplane crash, and both died. And without that insurance, her parents would have had a very difficult time in then raising that child. So tell a story, make it memorable, something about the good that our products do, and that will stick with them. It will also give you the credibility so that when you call them someday and say, hey, this proposal is a bad idea, they'll listen carefully to what you're saying and why you think that it is. So Cody, if we move forward. One of the things to always be aware of when you're meeting with members of Congress is, what's the situation? Know your own lawmaker. What political party are they? That might help you frame what you say. Are they in leadership? What committee assignments do they have? If you don't know these things, NAIFA can help, Google can help. And understanding this year, especially the environment of this Congress. These majorities are so narrow. In the House by about 4, in the Senate, it's 50-50. There is a lot of polarization. There's a lot of partisanship. You can read the newspaper to know this. I'm not telling you something that you're not aware of. The bitter taste after the January 6th events carries through. And so it's a sensitive situation in Congress right now. To be honest, now it's still almost all virtual. I have not been in a House or Senate office building since March of last year. They're not welcoming people into those buildings. And so there's a lot of conversation like this. I will say situational awareness in terms of what is happening. These infrastructure proposals are far-reaching. They're very political. If you didn't yet see the tax webinar, it's available and will cover some of the threats to our industry. You have seen, I hope already, the proposal, the presentations with what tomorrow's conversations will be and what that structure might look like, being all Zoom and with everyone from the states being in the Zoom meetings with their senators. And I would mention that getting 100 senators lined up for Zoom meetings has been one of NAFA's challenges and accomplishments in this virtual congressional conference. And I can't wait to see you in person next year. The next slide, Cody. Issue awareness. So you have to know sort of the playing field a bit, and then also know that our issues are not ones that you can get into the weeds on in a first meeting. I don't picture you doing graphs showing what net amount at risk means. Our insurance products are complicated. The tax rules surrounding our products are very complicated, some of them specific to insurance companies or to our products. Retirement rules are complicated, although we're trying to get those simplified. So be relaxed in knowing that you don't have to educate on everything in one meeting. You can always say, I will follow up with you. I will have staff follow up with you, and you can reach out to me and we'll get back in touch with that office with you on the line or in a meeting as well. So don't be afraid to not say everything. And if we move forward a slide, Cody. Tomorrow's issues and asks, the retirement savings is super simple. There are two bills, one in the House and one in the Senate. They each have about 42 different provisions in them that make retirement savings better. There are tax credits. They raise the required minimum distribution age. They will allow employers to match to a retirement plan the amount that the employee is paying in student loan repayment. So one of the asks is just a simple, either co-sponsor the bill and encourage enactment, since we'll only be having Senate meetings, as Diane has mentioned. The House is not in session tomorrow. The PRO Act is a bill that would like to make sure that all workers have a right to organize. It is a union-based plan based on the National Labor Relations Act. Could be a slippery slope in how NAFA members and insurance agents and professionals are considered, whether 1099 or W-2 employees. NAFA's survey was clear that you guys would rather be independent contractors. The bill itself, to be clear, does not make carriers change their relationships, but the ABC test that is everywhere, if we could just get an exclusion, and that's what the ask will be, add an amendment or an exclusion of financial professionals, and that then would satisfy whatever else Congress wants to do with respect to employees having the right to organize, which is not really targeted at us, but more like Uber and Lyft drivers. So Cody, next slide. Do your homework. Read about your legislator. I know I said this a minute ago and I'm saying it again because it's important to know. Know who he or she is, know what their background is, know what career experience they had before they got to Congress. Read the talking points and the issue briefs, and send us a question if you need to before tomorrow's meetings, and think about that story. Now, because we're having meetings that are Zoom only and that could have really a lot of people in them, not everyone is going to get an opportunity to tell a personal story, but have one in your back pocket in case it's you, and definitely for the times when you can meet with your members of Congress in a district office over the summer. And the next slide, please. There are some do's and don'ts. Be personable, be attentive. Members of Congress like to talk. You can have follow-up conversations or questions. Do be respectful of the amount of time that they have. Not all of our meetings are with member level. There will be staff. Ask a personal question and be memorable to them as well. Staff is a great way to be effective in advocacy. If we've got something that we need paid attention to quickly, going to staff first is definitely the most efficient. Don't use technical terms or industry jargon. Keep things at a level that people without an understanding of our industry would know what you're talking about in terms of the asks and in terms of what you do, and you can describe your business, but without industry jargon. Do not talk about campaign contributions. It's actually illegal to have a conversation with members in their offices about campaign contributions. And do remember to follow up after the meeting. NAEF has prepared some emails that you can use from our Advocacy Action Center that we encourage you to personalize. That is a thank you note with a reminder of what the talking points and issues were, and offering yourself to be a resource in the future for the office. So do go to the Advocacy Action Center after your meeting and send a note to the office. Cody? And sorry, Zoom, that we miss in-person meetings. I would like to lower your expectations just a little bit about how these meetings will go, because although the Hill has gotten pretty good at Zoom meetings and everybody has been innovative and adaptive, there is a possibility that there will be a lot of people in a meeting, and so not quite the ability to distinguish yourself from others. And that's why we're really recommending that you go make meetings in the district or in your state. And I'm going to pause for a moment because it looks like there might be some questions. Mark is asking, how familiar are you with AB5 in California? So AB5 is our model of what we would like the PRO Act to look like, with an exception for financial professionals, but that was not picked up in the federal version, and I don't think is being considered with the Department of Labor. And I'm not the expert on the PRO Act, so I'm happy to have my colleague follow up if you'd like. Just stick a note in chat and we'll make sure we get to you. I don't have a list of the sponsors to the PRO Act, but we will get it for you. The ABC test is a 3-part test to determine whether or not you're an employee or an independent contractor. We will get you guys the follow-up. I do believe is in the handouts that we have sent and prepared for you. Certainly the PRO Act issue brief is on the NAPA website. So be respectful, be patient. Thank you for being here. We could go to the next slide. Another thing, there's a lot of times when we really need to know if you already have a relationship with a member of Congress. So please do report those to us at the website, or even just send Maggie Buneo an email that says, hey, Representative Smith was my college roommate, or I wrote the auto insurance policy on Mr. Jones. Anything that you have that is in the way of a relationship that we could help you foster and build so that you become the resource, please let us know. We track that, and it's been very effective for us sometimes at the last minute to get a co-sponsor on a bill, or to have a member understand to take an opposing vote. So thank you. I'm going to check the questions again because not everyone can see them. So Brian is asking how you will access your particular congressional meetings. If you go to the all sessions on the left side of the main program, you can click and your senators will show up with the times that are allocated and the links for those particular meetings. Left side, all sessions, and then it will show the schedule for tomorrow, and you'll be able to find your senators on that list. And this seems like a lot to remember for a first-time person. Are the most key things to remember? The most key things to remember, because you will be in a group session, is to introduce yourself when you're asked, to describe briefly what your business is, to say that you encourage the senator to co-sponsor and see enacted the retirement savings bill, and to have an amendment added to the PRO Act that would exclude financial professionals. And anything else is just the way you conduct business anywhere. Be memorable, be fun, and enjoy yourselves. Just reach out. And thank you, Elena, for the how to reach your Senate meetings tomorrow. There should be a facilitator in the meeting that will sort of conduct the meeting, and so you guys will just follow along and speak when you get the opportunity to. And with that, this meeting is going to close. Thank you for coming to our congressional conference. I thought today's program so far was absolutely fantastic. There was a lot of information there. There's some more information to come. We're going to have an Ask the Experts open Q&A at 4:30 back on the regular main meeting platform. So we'll close this meeting shortly and give you a few minutes break and come back for the Q&A Ask the Expert session. And then there's the members only IFAPAC happy hour following that. So thank you all for being here. Enjoy yourselves and come back in person next year, because it's a lot more fun when we're swarming the hills, the office buildings on the hill. Thanks so much.